Three, two, one, and we're back. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of the Bridge podcast. I'm here. We have Sebastian, who was here with me last time. And go ahead and introduce yourself, Rashawn.
My name is, formerly known as Tunezzup, but my name is Rashawn Blake, hailing from Newark, New Jersey, with these fine people here.
Yeah, all right. And thanks for coming, man. You were actually one of the first people after Charlie KIRK got killed where we got on the phone and said, so we got to do something, because we have different views and we've known each other for a long time, so I'm glad we're finally here. We were able to make it happen.
Yeah, man, off rip, when I seen this happen, I was like, dude, there's got to be a conversation that needs to be had, because the way people were taking it, I felt like I seen this before,
Tensions were so high and people were looking for blame, people still are. But, that's another point. We can get into that a little bit.
I hope we do.
Here's an important question for both of you. Did you guys vote? Did you vote yet?
No, we still got a couple days.
Early voting. You didn't go?
I don't do early. I show up to the polls.
You don't trust it?
I just don't early vote. I think I did last year because I was supposed to be going away for a job thing, but normally no. I show up to the polls.
Isn't it supposedly better to get it in early? That's what I'm told.
I don't know. I mean, they say that. I feel like that's kind of just like, all right, let's make sure we I think a lot of it is people are worried on our side that, people say, oh, I'm going to be there on election day, and then something happens. Like, I got to pick my kids up from school, or something happened at work. Like, I can't get there, right? So,
or they're afraid that the votes will get counted late after everything.
So I prefer to vote on election day personally, but I think they just want to make sure that those votes are banked, especially because the tallies have been coming out for the mail-ins and the early vote. So
the mail-ins is what
Yeah. So
it's all messed up, man.
I personally have never voted.
No, why not?
Never voted in my life.
I know some people that'd be like, "Oh my god." My mother would freak out if she heard you say that.
What's interesting? I mean, my mother does too. So, I had this argument every couple of years. But what's interesting is the first time I had the opportunity to vote was for Obama on the second term. That's when I had turned 18 and I actually was able to register and do what I had to do. But I wasn't confident in voting for the president just simply because I hadn't seen any real change.
Yeah.
I didn't really see anything change in our country to where it actually benefited the people who needed actual repair or restoration or help, So when I seen that was the obvious case of what was going on, I said, hey, I don't really care to vote. I've always, I wasn't super political or even super into politics, but more or less I kept a keen eye on what was going on in our world and the things that were still being broadcasted out. And, a lot of, one good talking point that I like from conservatives is that, trauma is a really big propaganda pushing out that, what the black experience is or what happens in the real world. Of course, things happen all over the place, but the way a lot of things were played out and the way a lot of things were pushed out, the imagery, I didn't feel confident in our country enough to feel like I wanted to vote or even contribute as voter.
I can respect that. I mean, I felt I didn't weigh in. I refrained from weighing in on the whole Middle East situation for a long time just because I felt like I didn't know enough, Right. So same thing with the president. I know people that didn't want to vote just because
That's a part of it too, yeah, for sure. That's a part of it too as well, yeah.
It's so tough, These guys, they'll sell you their vote by saying they'll give you the world, but it's tough. So Sebastian, just so you know, Tunes, Sebastian has more of a background in politics than both of us. So he's worked on campaigns before for who?
I worked for I interned for John Eisman a couple years ago in 22. He ran against Tom King Jr., who's the representative in District 7 right now. And then after that, I wound up working for Baldy Groot, who we actually ran against Mikey Sherrill, who's running for the gubernatorial nomination right now in New Jersey. So, and then I wound up working down in Trenton in the state Senate for like a year and a half for the minority leader, and then I went up doing some consulting,
There you go.
and
And now you're
I'm
here.
So yeah,
Jinx.
Jinx soda.
There
hey,
you go.
twice.
And then for those who don't know, me and Rashawn Tunes, we'll go by Tunes, know each other for a few years now, a long time now, right?
Yo, it's been a minute.
It has been.
Honestly, it's been about 8 years.
Yeah,
something
right?
going on, something
Time
like
flies.
that. Yeah.
We both got kids now. It's crazy. But we know each other from the music world. Back when I was a recording artist, I still am. I'll say I am. But very talented artist with a voice of an angel. But it's cool.
Angel.
We got it's cool because we all have totally different backgrounds, totally different work experiences, totally different life experiences. So it's cool that we could be here and kind of talk about a couple of these controversial topics, which we definitely have no shortage of these days. Am I right? We mentioned we were going to talk about. We already did talk about Charlie, and another crazy thing about that is I'm glad you're here. I got to say thank you, Tunes, because there's some other people that got me on the phone and said they want to be involved and something's got to happen, and so many people who said they would be down to ride or die for Bridged, and like a week and a half later, I don't hear from any of them. It's crickets. So thanks for sticking with it.
You want to know what though, man? Like you can't get mad at them.
No, of course not.
Because it's a sort of a leap, especially when you got people with opposing views.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people look at this and say, "Oh, like, or you sell out or something," or like, they'll say like, "Oh, you're with the." That might be my phone.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep talking.
My fault. Or you might be with a sort of enemy. When I don't see a shit that way. Like I grew up. Oh, no, it's my boy. No, but I grew up, man. I grew up in a major Democratic city. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and it's always been like that. New Jersey is a Democratic state, by majority. So I don't have an issue. I don't see why I should have an issue with a conservative or Republican.
Mhm.
Now, I could definitely debate your talking points. I could definitely, counter the thing, your beliefs, because there's always two stories and one truth.
Yep.
So you're not ever gonna get a full spectrum. I'm not saying that you have to go and fucking do charity work because that's more performative than anything. But what I'm saying is you got to be able to listen to what the next person has to say.
Yeah.
And perspectives, the nuances and perspectives play a big role in life. I feel like we lose sight of that when we get sucked into this online shit, and everything that's going on.
Something that's super important that we all need to be self-conscious about having is the ability to receive more data and change our stance, change our belief based on new information. Because it gets risky when people just do mental backflips to support something that they just want to believe. Like Kamala Harris wasn't authoritarian, but Trump is. Yet Kamala was just selected for the ballot. She was put right on there. They didn't vote for her in a primary. And then you have Tim Walz shooting people for being on their front porch. That's authoritarian right there. Now, there is a lot of...
Tim Walz shot somebody?
Hmm?
Tim Walz shot somebody?
No,
check
with
out
paintball.
check out our social media. You'll see that one.
Yeah. We clipped it from last time.
You know what's crazy, bro? The audio was kind of fucking me up. I had to read the subtitles.
Oh, I took it off and I reposted it.
Yeah,
Instagram,
you did? I seen it the
Instagram.
first time, yeah.
Dude, some reason Reels, if I edit something and I put too much, so if I have like the music track and then I separate the audio from the actual video, and then if I do too much, it bugs out and it looks good like when I post it, and then when it actually uploads, it's all messed up. The audio's different, stickers are moved around on it. Right. It's all messed up.
It's weird because like when I saw it a few times when you posted it, and it seemed like it was fine.
Yeah, but
and then you mentioned it to me like a couple days later, and then I looked at it, and it was messed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck's going on?
My second theory is that because we were talking, you know how like people on Instagram, they blurt the word shot and like stupid words that shouldn't even be censored? Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's because of that. Could be because of that. Because I don't put a star for the letter O in the word shot.
Oh.
But
I don't know.
I would say this though, the Tim Walz situation, I don't know the entire. Just like I said, I'm asking you. You really shot somebody? If he did shoot somebody,
paintball.
You shot him with a paintball.
Well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't him. It was the people were standing out on their porch. This was during 2020, like the height of everything.
Oh shit!
And there were like a bunch of people in the house with their masks on, like standing on the front porch. Okay. And they had I didn't even look it up. I don't know what kind of I don't know if it's a SWAT unit or what. And they were dressed out in black, and they had not a military vehicle, but it was like a SWAT.
Was
Like
it around the time of the George Floyd riots? Was this around that time?
This was during COVID.
Yeah, it was
And
during
the height of COVID. Yep.
they were screaming
It
on the
was 'cause there was a
loudspeaker, "Go
curfew."
back in your house! Go back in your house!" And
Oh,
started
when they
shooting
were
people with, like,
implementing
paintball
the
guns.
curfew. Wow.
But they were on their front porch,
That's
just
insane.
watching the guys go up the street.
That's
And
insane.
it was, I feel like it was something out of a movie that you'd see, like some like evil bad guys
That's
like
terrible.
gets on the radio and starts screaming at
And this
people.
was in 2020.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're gonna pull it up.
yeah.
Yeah, show me when Tim Waltz shot somebody. Cause Tim Waltz shot somebody. He's a funny dude though. Like I when I see him speak, I don't believe him. I just
You don't take him seriously.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. He's a strange guy.
that guy's got a lot of China connections with the ex-girlfriend and everything. A lot of weird stuff there. That would be a good little social media post maybe to do.
China.
Tim Waltz paintball. Let me
Why
go to
you-
Google.
just look up the Instagram. Can you do that? So you can play it.
So he shot some people with a were they like pro. So this was
No,
like
they were just standing on their porch during COVID, and he was trying to enact a curfew.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought Tim Waltz shot somebody.
No.
All right, so he sent people out.
Yeah, some
Yes.
unit came out.
Were they like Washington State or some shit?
I don't
Oregon?
even. We gotta. I don't even know.
Where was this?
In the Twin Cities, that's Minnesota.
Minnesota. Wow.
Or and it's Minneapolis
He was a governor.
of
Correct.
Minnesota. It's
Yeah, yeah,
Minneapolis
yeah.
and one other city is the Twin Cities. All right, my internet wants to not work. That's fine. Whatever.
But yeah. So
Pull up. Here, do you want me to pull up the?
Yeah, you can if you want to airdrop it, but
I-
don't spend too much time.
I don't feel as though, and I want you guys' opinion on this. How do you feel about the troops being in the inner cities of these the blue states?
Are you talking about ICE?
ICE, National Guard, the whole fiasco around it. How do you guys feel about it?
Chicago,
honestly?
you're saying?
Chicago,
Right now.
Mississippi. How do you feel about that?
I think there's so many gray areas, but it's really more black and white than we make it sometimes. Like, it's a good thing that 47, when the 40, there was an ICE raid in Chicago that just happened. We were talking about it last time. It was like 40, no, sorry. It was like 27 guns, illegal guns were recovered, and 7 missing children were found. No matter how you cut the cake, that's a good thing, right? I don't think it's okay. There's a lot of rumors that ICE agents are being fast-tracked and they're underqualified, and that could be a recipe for disaster there. I don't think that's a good thing. So I think there's there's good and bad things that needs to be done right. I don't disagree with what's going on with ICE, and I don't disagree with Trump sending in the National Guard necessarily. I mean, if it's going to just escalate things, then that's never good.
Well, the National Guard, they're not actually. They're just there to protect ICE and make a perimeter so
Yes.
people don't start
Yeah.
like that video that I saw before of.
And people try to twist it. Like, you had that one reporter go up to Trump, why are you starting a war in Chicago? And Trump had a great answer. He goes, I'm not starting a war. Don't twist it. We're going to clean up our cities. You know, the city's already in a war. We're going to stop it, you know?
People would be surprised. And I want to also ask you guys a question before I start my diatribe. Do you guys, as Republicans, conservatives, do you guys consider the black community as a liberal community or a conservative
Not at all.
community?
as a whole,
As a whole,
across the country.
across the country.
I mean, historically, blacks vote 90+% Democrat. So I mean, that's just a fact. But over this past election, the past couple, you've really seen the black turnout is inching closer to the right. And I think
It
you're
is.
talking about securing the cities. I think a lot of that has to do with it.
Well, you talked about how Newark is different today than it was 10 years ago.
It definitely is.
And what made you say that? It's better, right?
Newark has been up and down. I would
That's a
say
great question.
I would say this: immigration has made Newark better, in the sense of, you have more people. I would say where I am, because everybody's got different immigrants everywhere you go. You got Somalians that go to certain parts of the country. You have different people that go everywhere. Where we are right now, we're getting a lot of Mexicans, we're getting a lot of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. But what I'm running into, they're good people.
Yeah.
Most of them are. A vast majority of them get up before 90% of the country
To go to work.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I see it because I'm up with them.
And that's a big thing, man.
You know,
It's-
and to me that's a big deal. You know, to be able to also shed light on that, like these people do work hard, and it has changed the community in a bit
Yeah.
because you know that's one. It's a funny thing. At one point in time, the block that I'm living on now, the block will be flooded with cars, drug dealers, people. You know what I'm saying, serving crack, whatever. I'm not afraid to say this shit because it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
As you should not. You shouldn't be afraid to say it.
So when I seen that, and when the immigration, the most recent immigration happened, you know, right after the pandemic, things started to change. You seen the police force started to beef up, just for the simple fact that you had the population is inflated, so you need the police force to inflate. So we started seeing more state police in the inner cities, you know, and a lot of things started to get cracked down on. And I would say that helped in a way. But you guys would be surprised. A lot of black people have way more conservative values than you think.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
I'm not surprised.
Next
by
week,
that.
I'm finally allowed to say. So we have Billy Premfa running for Congress, District 9 in New Jersey, is going to be our next guest next week. So, and he's as black as it gets, but a good dude. You know, Army veteran and conservative values. And
As black as it gets. It's black.
Sure when he comes down here,
he's going to like that one.
Yo, make
I want something I can
you
clip
gotta
to
make sure
promote
you
it.
say that to that man's face.
Sure.
You are as black as it gets.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Billy's a big dude. He's
He
like,
is, he
I
is,
think he's
he
like
is.
6'5". He looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a linebacker. Like,
Billy gonna fuck you up.
He's
Zach.
an Army dude, too.
he was in the Air Force, I think.
Was he? Yeah,
He
yeah.
was Air Force.
I didn't want to misspeak, but yeah.
I think so. He's a nice guy.
He is, yeah.
He's going to be a real great representative, and I think he's got a good chance this year. I mean, he was so close last year. I mean, we'll talk about it
With
next
such
week.
little funding, too.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week, but I think this is his fourth time running. I think the first time he ran in 2020, he lost by, I think it was like 107,000. 2 years later, he brought that, he added like 88,000 votes to that, and he brought it down from like 107,000 or 100,000 down to, I think it was like 17 and change, and then last year brought that number to like, I think it was 12.5. So I mean, he's within striking
Yeah.
distance. And that Patterson, that was the district, his district. Trump won.
Now, let me ask, do you know have you heard of him before?
I've never heard. You said Billy Patterson?
Billy Premfa.
Billy Premfa.
Yeah, for District 9,
I've
which is
never heard of
Patterson.
Yeah, no, I never heard of him.
Yeah.
I lived in Patterson for maybe like 2 years.
See?
Yeah.
We need more people to know he's on the ballot.
Right.
That's
No.
the thing.
The
man.
cool thing about
Definitely.
Billy too is like if you follow him online, he's always in the community because it's where he's
He
from.
is, yeah, he is.
I mean, he goes down to the board meetings and like he fights for the people down there. Like he's screaming and yelling at different things. You know,
Mhm.
he's always taking videos
And that's
and,
the thing, dude.
and
Like,
really fighting for the community.
one thing I will say, like, when Cory Booker became the mayor of Newark, it's probably one of the best times in Newark, even though the crime stats were pretty bad. I mean, they were just as bad as they are now. That was one of the best times in Newark because Cory Booker was on the ground. There are people all the time. We used to see Cory Booker come to the schools. He came to my school multiple times.
Yeah.
You could see Cory Booker taking the bus on any off day, and nobody messed with him. Everybody had respect for him. It was a real thing, and I feel like it's a big thing for all politicians. They should be in these cities where they know they need help,
Totally
not just
agree.
where they need help. You got to get your funding, and you got to cater to your base and the people that you're speaking to. But at the same time, you need to also be accessible, because I feel like that's really the issue, my issue with the Republican Party, because sometimes you guys make it inaccessible for people to come in just based off and I'm going to say it, insensitivity that you guys bring to the table of what you're trying to serve. Because at the end of the day, I feel like what Trump is doing, I hope it's to help everybody. Because, cutting a lot of these programs out and cutting off SNAP and reforming healthcare is an important thing. These companies are scamming the fuck out of us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, too.
It's very important that everybody gets a perspective of. We've been getting scammed off of a lot of shit because people are in debt, and we have a national debt that goes far beyond probably the debt of the rest of the world. And it's sad that you got a lot of people falling into the same trap. That's why I never voted. It's because I knew that the Democratic Party was a sort of a trap. One thing I was taught when I was young, right? It was a guy, he dated my aunt, and he told me something important. He was like, I've never used food stamps in my life. Now, my mother was on food stamps. She was on SNAP. My mother had multiple sclerosis. She had a real disability. So at a certain point in time, she had to stop working. You know, she had good jobs.
And that's what it was for.
And that's what it was for.
That's what it's designed for.
You know,
People
but
like
I also do know people who, you know, they were willing and able-bodied, but, you know, they come up with a limp and say, hey, you know. So I can't deny that.
They're able to have 6 kids.
Exactly, so that they can collect more. I can't deny that. I'm not going to ever deny that. But at the same time, predicaments make people, you know, not government programs. So if we really need to want to attack a problem, it's got to be a problem worth attacking. You know, look at why this program was put in place in the first place, because of Great Depression. Great Depression happened among the American citizens, not America, the American citizens, for the simple fact of all of our factories closing down. I spoke to a dude from East Side Chicago, and he was older guy. He's probably in his 60s, maybe going into his 70s. And he told me, he's like, man, growing up in I believe he said like the 60s, the late 60s, early 70s, he was like, East Side of Chicago was full of black people. He was like, because everybody got to work right in their city. You know, most of the people worked in factories. Most of the people own homes. And this is not just a black and white thing. Everybody deserves to be able to have this opportunity, I feel. You know, of course, you got to make decisions, the correct decisions to become who you need to be. But everybody deserves the right to be able to put their foot in and say, okay, I want to get right. You know, he told me, he's like, man, all of that happened. As soon as the factory shut down, the community plummets.
Right.
And you can't put a Band-Aid on that. That's a big fucking gash. Because at that point, it's like, all right, now the banks could come and swoop in, take these houses up, sell them to whoever they want to sell them to, usually investment companies.
Yeah.
That property right there is just abandoned. So now you got an abandoned factory. You got people looking for work. And the only offhand work, unless you got a mom and pop shop or something that's been in the city for a while, what are you doing?
You lose all those blue collar jobs.
You lose all those blue collar jobs.
You ruin
and then,
families and
exactly.
ruin generations.
You ruin generations of people. And that's how that works. And when you say, okay, we're gonna put a Band-Aid on it, right? Let's give them welfare.
Well, yeah, it just makes it worse in the long run.
It not only makes it worse, you got to think about what made it worse was the incentive of welfare. Because the incentive wasn't supposed to be to tear down the family. It was supposed to be supplemental help. You know, so when these people need help, it's saying, okay, but there are qualifications that go with it. Just like we're saying now. You got to be qualified to be able to be on welfare. You do. But like I said, situations make people. Not the policy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know plenty of disabled people that make the best of their situation and make it work and make more money than some people that are able-bodied that are working, you know?
They do. But if a person doesn't get that nuance of what's going on and why these things happen, they'll go off in their mind saying, oh, people just don't want to work and these fat, lazy Laquishas and, you know, like, and it's sad because how could you blame them? Because in a sense, that's the reality of the situation. Yeah, people are just being lazy. But at the same time, this system was implemented and allowed to continue to happen for centuries. This system happened through the crack era. This system happened through a part of all the wars we've been through in the past 40, 50 years. This system is being implemented through some of the most destructive times in these inner city communities. I'm not even going to say the black community because white people were affected by this. Hispanic people were affected by this. Everyone that lived in these spaces were affected by this. You know? So it's like, that's kind of my perspective on it, man. If you could pick it up, it's like, man, we got to be nuanced about these conversations. Some people need it. Some people are fucking using it. But at the same time, shit, I needed it and I couldn't get it. You know, I worked my ass off.
They probably told you made too much money, right?
I made too much fucking money.
Yeah.
Once I cleared 40, they said no. And I never was able to collect
And 40's not enough to really
40's not enough to support
no
3 people. And that was my situation.
Yeah.
I was like maybe a fucking hair over 40. Maybe 47 at the time.
Yep. Nope. Not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough to support one person.
No, it's not.
3.
No, it's not. I mean, you can make it work off one person, but think about 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but making it work off one person, what is it? It's you'd have to rent. No way you're buying something
Exactly.
like that. And if you're renting, that means you're really not. Renting is like the.
In that case, you're
If
still
you could
getting
avoid
fucked.
renting,
Yeah.
I think you should do it. But
still
not
getting
everybody.
fucked, yeah.
You know, it's tough, man.
Right.
And even if you don't avoid renting, you get a mortgage, and then you have freaking pay in the bank for 30 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, you want to know why I find this whole conversation interesting? Is because, like, in this thing, I want to ask you guys questions, and I want you guys to honestly answer, like, your real perspective. You know, like how you see it. Because I don't feel like I'm an agitator to either side, to the Dems or the Republicans. I feel like I'm the type of person that's trying to make sense of it. And I see less and less of that in today's world, you know? So I'm excited. Let's keep it rolling, bro.
Yeah, man.
Do you want? I airdropped this. I'll try it again, real quick. You know, we're kind of.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the whole Snap thing because it's like so many angles to it. It did start off as something that was for the people, but I think it became something that was turned into something to keep the people dependent, right? So that they vote a certain way, and that's why it becomes so dangerous. And I told you that the Department of Agriculture, they're the ones that are behind Snap, and supposedly they proudly claim on their site that they've sent out over like 500 million in food stamps since it started and all this, right? And then it was a different department that has it posted about the national parks. Whatever department's in charge of that says, please do not feed any of the animals in the national parks. And their reason behind that is the animals will get used to the handouts and will not be able to take care of themselves, right? So those are two different systems, but under the same government. That it's like, obviously they knew that information and they knew where it was going with that. And I think that it came down to the individual Democrat politicians. A lot of them Democrat because they're the only ones that were, that wanted to.
Wait, so clear that up. It was a sign that
I'll
said
show you.
this. Okay.
Mhm. I'll try to. Let me get what did you just airdrop, Sebastian?
Oh, it was the shooting, the Tim Walz shooting.
Oh, you did that? Here. Let's say it one more time, sorry.
No, you're good.
The shitty part about why Snap is like a big deal right now is because it affects so many different fields and industries. It's gonna definitely affect the agriculture industry. A lot of the funding from there comes from
Instagram.
Snap.
That's it right there.
I know, but to play it, I think I have to.
There's the volume's right down the bottom right corner. Scroll up. I just saw it.
Oh yeah, that's it. But I can't really zoom in. But just so you could see it.
Was this at like the peak of when the pandemic first started?
Yeah, well, like when there was stay 6 feet away
Okay.
and all that shit. And it's just nuts, dude, because it's literally like an army. It looks like a SWAT team out shooting civilians for standing on their porch. It's not even like they were.
Under curfew until 6 a.m.
Yeah, Twin Cities now under curfew until 6 a.m. So I think it was like from 6 to 6 or something. If you were out even on your porch, you're getting shot. You're getting lit up.
And that's the thing that a lot of people were afraid of during the pandemic was like them trying to introduce a martial law. You know, like that's something that we should fear now. We should fear that, period, as an American people.
Yeah.
Because that's a real thing. And I feel like, ironically, I think Trump exemplifies that in a way. Like, like we can use the U.S. forces in different ways to manipulate certain situations. You know, I don't attribute that to ICE as much, but I more or less attribute that to being able to militarize cities.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's why there's Congress and there's multiple levels that You know, it's not like the president could just snap his fingers unless he does an executive order, which is, you know.
Do you think we're going about it?
But then
in the
again,
best-
but then again, Biden signed, what was it, 47 executive orders in his first day in office. It was more than any other president in history. It's like the ones that are doing things that should be deemed authoritarian are coming from the left most of the times. Now, I don't agree with everything Trump does, and there's way too many people that idolize Trump. They put him on a pedestal, and he could do no wrong. His shit doesn't smell, and that's not me. I think we should all, you know, criticize ourselves. So if I think we should criticize ourselves, I'm of course going to criticize, you know, Trump or somebody that I voted for. You know, you want to make sure they're doing what's in the best interest of everybody. And I do honestly believe that Trump's ego is so big that, I said this a long time ago when he first ran, his ego is so big that he wants to be the best president in the history of the United States, right? So he's
goal.
So he's going to do everything he can to be the best president for the United States. But that's the kind of guy you want on your team. You know?
I can agree. I mean, as far as this last election with Kamala and him, I told people, and even though I'm a non-voter, I told people, I'm like, Kamala's not going to win. I'm like, there's no way she wins this. People are already missing Trump. You know, from what we've seen out of the last Biden administration and the shit they were doing, no one had faith in America anymore. And that was the thing. Like, you could say Trump had a gimme win in a way. This is like a Disney. It's like a Disney.
Yeah, his opponent was a freaking rock sack of potatoes.
But once again, like, you gotta give him credit. People wanted him back. So
remember when he drove through Atlanta? Everyone was cheering on his
yeah. People actually wanted Trump back, and he was actually. I felt like he was doing a campaign for America when he was running.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of the better. It was probably right there up there with the 08 Obama campaign. Like, it was. We anticipated it. It was no question who was going to win. So, you know, he got that gimme. But at the same time, he's doing what he said he's going to do for his people. I will say that. He speaks to his base. I was telling somebody this the other day. I'm like, yo, one thing about him, he's probably the best president at speaking to his base. You know?
What do you mean by that?
It's because when Trump says something, it comes to pass. In one way or another, we may not like it the way it happens, but it comes to pass in a way where his words are effective. You know? So you got to give him credit in that sense. Like, you know, he's effective in what he says and what he acts out, for sure.
Yeah, there's a level of honesty there and, like, transparency.
There actually is.
That's something we complain about all the time about politicians.
Politicians lying.
They're lying and they tell you one thing and do the other, but, like, you don't really. He's just a straightforward.
That's
guy.
the other thing.
Right.
Is people call him say, "Oh, he's so evil because of
New
all these
Yorker.
mean tweets." Let's go to the whole mean tweet thing from the very beginning. I saw the mean tweets thing as a sign of transparency. Of like, okay, at least we know what's in this guy's closet, though. His life has been very public his whole life. A lot of these other politicians, we don't know things about them.
New York is New York because of. Now it's a mess, but you know, New York's what it was because of him. I mean, when they couldn't get any of the projects done, he came in there.
Yeah, he got
just like when they couldn't get the military paid with this recent shutdown. He was the one who donated.
When he couldn't get a lot of the what do you call them, the city contracts, the permits.
Yeah,
he came through and got them. Trump is a good businessman, but I would rather know who I'm talking to than have to wonder.
Yeah.
You understand?
Are you saying that?
Like, it's because, like, I'm not saying Trump is a racist, but if someone was a racist, I would rather them tell me and show me who they are.
That's what I meant by, like, at least his cards are on the table.
Than someone pretend to be on my side and then come behind my back and say, oh, and doing the whisper thing in the ear thing.
Because they could do more damage that way.
Yeah, exactly. You could do way more damage that way. If you understand what I'm saying when I say that, you kind of get where you feel what I'm saying. Like,
and that's what I mean.
It's a level of honesty with Trump, and this is what I was trying to explain to people, especially like people in my family, the Democratic. And I was just telling them, I'm like, dude, Trump is telling you exactly what he's going to do. He's going to do it. Yeah. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, you know, if we vote in Kamala, you know,
we don't know who's really pulling the strings.
We don't know who's really pulling the strings.
Even with Biden,
even with Biden, we know for a fact Biden wasn't a decision maker.
Not competent.
For more than half of his.
Kamala's on her book tour right now. Did you hear? I think it was yesterday. I heard the clip.
Yeah.
She basically admitted to The whole thing was just...
Oh, I know.
mean, we all
Jean Pierre.
knew that,
Who was the
but-
press
Yeah.
secretary for Biden? That quit.
Not Karine Jean-Pierre?
That one.
I call her
She
Spider-Man.
wrote a whole book saying how bad it was.
They're sitting behind the scenes. Kamala couldn't even run her own campaign. She didn't run her own campaign.
She honestly, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Republican, but she might be one of the worst people ever to just try to run for office.
And
she was a mess as attorney general. She did so many messed up things in California.
Yeah.
I mean, she put a black man behind bars for 6.5 years for a crime that he didn't do. I'm blanking on his name right now.
So we got to ask, how did these people get into the position where they could be running for the United States?
She was holding prisoners past their sentencing date, which is illegal, to use them as like forced slave labor for the state of California. She was a mess.
She got a lot of people out of jail,
Willie
too.
Brown.
Yeah.
I mean,
Willie Brown. I heard
and,
about that
who's
situation.
the actor? She was dating. She was like his side chick.
Oh, Montel Williams.
Yeah. I think that's
Montel
what it was,
Williams. It's interesting.
What do you mean she got people out of jail?
She got a lot of people. What do you call it? Exonerated for the weed charges out there. Once all the legislation passed, where it wasn't a felony crime. Well,
she
it never
did that 'cause
was.
She felt bad for putting them in there.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah. She did put them in there, and then she got a lot of people out of jail as well. She got a lot of people set free as well. I'm not really too keen on her politics at all, to be honest with you. I'm literally right now. I'm giving you dog whistles of what I hear about her.
Yeah.
But as
Well,
when
when I hear you say that she got people out of jail, part of me wonders how much of it was, genuine versus how much of it was her campaign team saying they're gonna hound on you for locking up all these people for weed, and now you need to go do something to damage
that? And
control
they asked her
it.
that question,
Right.
and they're like, "Have you ever smoked weed?" She's like, "Hey," I'm like, she couldn't answer the question. She did a hyena laugh.
look,
The
Jonathan
Kamala
Truelove.
cackle.
That's the guy. Look him up. Jonathan Truelove was the guy that she put
the
in jail.
one thing I will say about Kamala Harris, she was thrown into the fucking shittiest situation to be in as an elected official.
She wasn't elected. Oh, sorry for the camp for.
And, I mean, she wasn't. She didn't really do the campaign. She kind of just took it over after Biden, almost kicked the bucket.
Jonathan Truelove. I think it's Trulove. I think he was an actor too. He was on
Jonathan
Is that it?
Truelove.
Trulove. Love. Trulove. I think it was.
That is the. I can't even say what I want to say.
I think it was
Jonathan Truelove.
I'm even getting his first name wrong.
A unique blend of legal expertise and leadership experience.
Maybe not Jonathan. What was his first name? He was an actor. I'm looking it up right now if I can get this.
Jamal
Sorry.
Truelove.
A man who was wrongfully convicted of murder in 2010 while Kamala Harris. Hold on, let me see that. Jamal Truelove.
3340.
Hold on, no, go back to the one you just
Yeah.
had, Zach.
Can you read it up here so we could?
Yeah, let me see. Go back to the last page you want, because you were right on the context of what we were talking about.
He did like a
Yeah.
6-minute interview.
True Love Kamala appears to be blah, blah, blah.
Referring to
Jamal
a phrase.
Truelove served more than 6 years in prison before his conviction was overturned by an appellate court. He was acquitted in 2015 retrial. He later won $13.1 million settlement from the city of San Francisco on a civil suit, where the jury found the police officers had framed him and deliberately fabricated evidence. Of course they did. Phrase
That's just what I looked up because this is AI.
Yeah.
I looked up True Love Kamala.
fire. All right, Harris's role. While Harris was the district attorney, she did not personally prosecute the case, but one of her deputies did. Her office placed a key witness in witness protection and provided significant living expenses in exchange for testimony, and a point later scrutinized in court filings.
So that's crazy. That means basically they bribed.
She showed up though. He explained in one of his interviews. She showed up to the courtroom and was laughing at him.
Really?
Yeah.
And he was falsely accused. That's insane.
Now, I mean, thankfully he
That's a
got that
sad thing.
settlement.
And they
Most of the
basically
time, you don't
bribed a
even get
witness.
that much, but still, the guy lost 7 years
So
of his life.
here's
Hey,
True
man.
Love's claims. True Love, who is also an actor and filmmaker, has publicly stated that he saw Harris in the courtroom after his initial guilty verdict and that she laughed.
And interaction as
he described as
insensitive and which has influenced his views on the political career. Wow.
So, like, what do you think of that?
That's disgusting. That's gross, man. That's sad.
It's like these
because
are the people.
it's no and see, this is the problem, man. A lot of these politicians don't do things, and this is what I hate about this, the disingenuous nature of the Democratic Party, because you can run on all of these tropes that you think our culture is, the black culture is. You can run on all of this bullshit, but then at the same time call us super predators. I don't care who you are. Once you're a grown person, once you reach a certain age of your life and development of your brain, you are who you are. Correct? You can always change your view perspective of things, sure. But if you made your career calling black people super predators and getting them locked up like Joe Biden, you can't come back and flip and say, well, you kind of can because
remember when he called black people roaches?
Exactly. I mean, you kind of can say you ain't black if you don't vote for me.
Yep. I was just gonna bring that one up.
If you try to run for president the next time,
a Republican said the same thing.
It
would be wall-to-wall news coverage.
It would
never
be.
hear the end of it for 3 months.
It would be. And see, what people don't understand is black people just don't trust the government. All in all,
it's understandable.
And that's
the Tuskegee experiments, right? Like,
exactly, and not even just Tuskegee experiments. These
wait, what?
There were a number of them. That's just the one I remember off the top of my head. There were a couple.
I want to know about experiments.
If you look that up, that's
the Tuskegee experiments.
That's a very nasty thing that happened, man. But
even HIV, the HIV,
spell that for me.
HIV stuff as well. I mean, a lot of diseases.
Tuskegee, I think it was Tuskegee.
Yeah, you got it. Tuskegee University.
No, not the airmen. Yeah,
experiment.
But it's that. That's how you spell it?
Yeah, experiments.
Oh, boy. I don't know about this one. Oh, I do know about this. They gave a bunch of black people syphilis.
And didn't tell them they thought they were treating them.
And didn't tell them.
Yeah.
They thought they were just treating them for some shit.
Yeah.
As a human,
that's messed up, man.
I mean,
so I don't get how black people can hear about this stuff, and then what is it? 60 years later, they freaking trust what the Democrats are saying.
Black people voting Democrat for the next 200 years.
The next 200 years.
All the social welfare programs came out under him. They subsidized single motherhood in this country.
Right.
And 100 years ago, in the early 1920s.
You're forgetting the last part of that sentence. He said, "We'll have those."
Yeah,
voting for us for the next 100 years, and he was freaking right about it.
And he was right, because when you put people in desperate times, it calls for desperate measures.
200 years.
And people will only do what they do. See, and this is, I want to go back to this Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you know what I said about Charlie Kirk 2 days after he died, and I actually I was looking at everything happening. I'm like, man, Charlie Kirk was a mark.
What do you mean?
He was a mark. They marked. And I know you're political. So I don't want to include, like, you don't even have to comment on this, but Charlie Kirk was a mark, man.
What do you mean a mark?
It's because they killed Kirk.
Yeah, he was.
They got him out the way.
He was
because
assassinated.
he actually believed the shit he was saying.
Yeah.
And the thing is this: I'm happy. I'm not happy he died, but I'm happy people reacted this way.
Yeah.
Because the same distrust that I have in the American political spectrum, the same distrust that we're seeing coming from the other side.
Charlie was asking very specific questions in the week leading up to his death.
We have to also take into account in the early 70s and 80s and in the 90s, there were black scholars, of American history studies and African history studies, combing, the world history textbooks to figure out, where do black people come from? Why did this happen? Why was this the way it was? And a lot of theories came up out of that. Mm-hmm. A lot of different schools of thoughts as well. But the black intellectual was a celebrated thing, and you don't see that anymore. You don't see people with an intellectual basis that's not a political one, because the Black Panthers were considered a communist party down to its core. It didn't have a political standing, even though they had democratic rounding. Like a lot of people who supported them were democratic individuals. They had influence, but at the same time, this wasn't about political parties. And when I see America First, I don't think of a political party. I think about America first.
Yeah,
I think about people who think that we should come first when it comes to our affairs because we all pay a hell of a lot of
It's
taxes.
like the whole thing behind MAGA. Now MAGA is a political thing.
And that's what I see. And what it does for the people is the most important thing. It's not just about what gets headlined because for the first thing that who was it? Nancy Pelosi? Was it Nancy Pelosi, the Republican? No, that's the Democratic chair lady.
Yeah, she's in California.
Who was the woman who came out of the courthouse? And the first thing she said was, "This was the left. The left has blood on their hands. Not only moments after
what was
Charlie
it regarding?
Kirk died. It was regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination.
I don't know.
And once I seen that news clip, I'll find it too. I'll send it to you later. Once I seen that news clip, I said, "Man, this was the mark out. He marked them out. This is an engagement of trauma.
I know one thing: Tyler Robinson did not.
This is a George Floyd situation. You understand what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah, it could be.
It's a situation where when you promote an idea and you combine that with trauma,
mm-hmm.
and you say, "Oh, this side thinks this way and that side thinks that way," you know, the people who are being hurt are automatically gonna fall into the side that coddles that trauma. So you go back in time. You say, okay,
yes,
all the things that happened with.
I know what you mean.
Exactly.
All the things that happen. You cause the problem, you sell the solution.
Yeah. And I feel as though this is a part of the American propaganda machine, and that's something that goes beyond what a politician can control. I feel as though.
I definitely think I can agree with you on a couple things. It's that Charlie was killed for reasons unknown. It wasn't because somebody with a trans boyfriend was freaking angry. That's not the reason, and it wasn't him that killed him. And even if it was him that didn't make the shot, I don't even think he took the shot because it's impossible.
Dude,
it's the cover. But he was killed because he believes, and you know, it's not because he believes in what he was saying. It's because when you believe what you're saying, it's that much more powerful. He had too much power with it against certain forces, and it.
I mean, he was a voice for young people.
Yeah,
he was.
Look at all this stuff, all the college campuses he went to, and
but
all the
you know, we're doing our due diligence. I don't mean just us on this show. I mean, there's a lot of people that are
But
are
see, when you have that type of influence, there's not really a place for you when it comes to politics, because it's a saying that I feel like it's cross cultural. One person is never bigger than the system.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't look at that situation and say, "Oh, this was the reason and cause for this." It was multiple reasons why that man was killed.
You said something about nobody celebrates like black excellence anymore.
They don't.
What did you mean by that?
Because, man, I'm gonna say something that might be controversial.
Mm-hmm. Please.
What we do, the money that we take from foreign business, foreign executives, and domestic executives, in damn near every industry, the money that we take from them is damn near treasonous. Because if we're doing something that in turn harms our people in order to make some type of financial gain, I understand it's a capitalist society, but it's treasonous because it goes against, it fucks with our image.
You
understand what I'm saying?
You have to be in the know enough to understand that, though. Like, you have to see the whole system.
You got to see the whole system.
Can I tell you what I thought of when you said that?
What do you think?
What we talked about on the phone about that video I saw of that black man, the restaurant owner.
Right.
And it was a video of, I forget what city it was, but he was going around his restaurant and he was crying and he was saying, like, y'all did this to me, you brought your shit here. And he's talking about how, you know, like, this, I'm a black man really trying to do something with my life, and you guys think you're doing something, and you bring this fight here, some gang violence, and it sucked because there was blood all over the restaurant. His whole place was ruined, and it was a nice place. It was a luxury restaurant.
What happened?
It was some gang shit.
It was a shootout inside of the restaurant.
In the restaurant?
In the restaurant.
On its opening night. This was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Maybe I heard about it, but
it was a real thing.
Do you know where that was?
Either Detroit. I think it was Detroit.
Yeah,
I think
that sounds
Detroit.
right. Sounds about right. But not even that. Or you have somebody who, like Billy, for example. There's black people that call him a traitor because he's a Republican, but yet he's still doing something.
What are you
like
talking about?
Billy Prempeh.
Billy Prempeh, okay.
Yeah. Or this is going far, but Candace Owens, right? Even Republicans are calling her crazy too, but still, like, it's just, I don't know.
I like Candace Owens, even though she knows nothing about Africa. I like Candace Owens.
Yeah, I could agree with you on that. Yeah, I do too. I think that she's being discredited for certain reasons, but
She is, man. It's because she's just like Charlie. In a sense, when you have, I feel like it was a point in time where you can come up in like the internet space in any field and just really take advantage of it to the point where you got the fucking world in a chokehold.
I think it's amazing how. Now, here's what I meant by like. I think we can't be so invested in one party that when we see blind evidence of something else, that we're just like, oh no, like we can't do mental gymnastics.
We can't do that.
We can't.
Man.
And I have more recently since Charlie. I think I really like. I used to defend Trump to no end, and if something was bad, I'd be like, yeah, fuck. You know what? Now I'm like, yeah, there's probably a pretty good chance he is on the Epstein list. I don't fucking know. You know,
there's got to be clear consensus across the spectrum.
So here's what I mean by that. It's like so many conservatives are calling Candace crazy. There's a lot that are on her side, but a lot of them are like just dismissing her and calling her crazy. But you can't dismiss the fact that she was friends with Charlie and she knows things that we don't know, and that she, you know, it's just like she's saying this thing, and it's not because I don't know. She has some valid points. And a lot of the conspiracy theorists on many different topics have valid points.
I don't think that it was a coincidence that Ben Shapiro showed up in that man's seat. Maybe
That was
a
weird.
couple days after he died. I don't think that's suspicious.
Oh, I
at all.
don't either. You're saying at the colleges?
I mean, on his show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On the
And he said
second,
he
what
was
was
gonna-
it? The second posthumous episode. He showed up right there.
Well, and then BB was doing all those Fox News interviews,
Yeah.
like
I
talking.
mean, why
about
is
the guy,
BB
like-
Netanyahu talking, even talking about a political commentator off YouTube?
Well, because
It was weird.
they were
How
they've
They do
spoken.
whole
Yeah.
interviews about that one thing.
Haven't they
to
talked?
him,
You
like,
get what I'm
it's kinda-
saying?
It was a little
Like,
weird.
why
Haven't they
is
met
he
before?
even-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Char-
but it was just weird how, like, of all people, you're gonna have him on the news and keep doing segments about Charlie. Like,
Yeah.
you're the leader of a country. Why is that?
a fucking nation?
Yeah, and you're going through
Whole state.
the whole situation of yourself, of your own over there. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like it was kind of not genuine and
Why was he trying to
Strange.
redirect?
It felt strange. That's all I'm
For
saying.
sure, the whole thing feels strange. 100%.
Did you see Mark Levin last night?
A lot of people are blaming the security team because it looks sketchy what they do with the whole pass-offs and all these other things and the countdowns and all this shit.
That
right?
whole thing, I
but
can't
people,
really-
a lot of people don't realize they're blaming the security team. Other people are saying Netanyahu has something to do with it. People aren't realizing that his security team was Israeli. It was an Israeli security team. It wasn't Palantir or anything, but it was. He's come out publicly saying that, you know, there's a video of Charlie saying, if you want good security, go to the Israelis. They have the best everything. And his whole security team was Israeli. Right. It's just like, and they didn't try to do anything to save him because there was no blood on any of their hands. It's just so many things that people will dismiss just because they're told to. And
I mean,
it's
the
nuts.
protocol
And it's
of-
not just on the left, it's on the right too.
protocol of that whole thing was just strange. Like, it was happening in Utah, right? I hear like they're one of the only states where they don't require EMT on site.
Oh, was that what that was?
I
'Cause
believe
there was no
so.
ambulance.
Yeah,
To my
I
knowledge.
believe it's one of
Is
those
that why they
states
chose that?
where they
so that they
don't-
wouldn't have a state-run hospital?
I mean, we don't know, but I find it strange.
They
how
also
that
looked
all-
up the school. They looked up Tyler Robinson.
Yeah.
Somebody, I don't say when I say they, I mean somebody in Israel looked up Tyler Robinson, the specific school, the specific hospital, the surgeon that made the announcement that his neck was as strong as steel, stopping the bullet. All these things people were looked up like a month or so prior from a server.
It was found in the search engine.
Mm-hmm. And now, if you try to look that up on the Google Analytics, it's all scrubbed.
I could believe it. But it's sad when
But
they
you can still find the conspiracy theory videos
But
on
isn't it odd when they feed us
Let's do
false information to traumatize us, and it's a real thing, and I feel like it's a service to call that out. You know, we have to service our people by calling that type of shit out because it's something strange about how that man died, and it's unfortunate that he did die. I don't like everything that he stood for, to be honest with you, but at the same time, that was gruesome. That was like a public execution. And
the Crossroads report. Why were people in Israel Googling Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson last February? And it's more than that. They were Googling a lot. This is probably going to be an analysis of Google data shows that people in Israel were searching the names of several people connected with the assassination of Charlie Kirk earlier this year, including Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson. And one person's name was being searched already in 2024. Brian Harpole was searched by people in Israel in December of 2011. What? Yeah, I thought this was going to be something stupid, and it is.
I mean, how did they find this data, though?
Brian Harpole was one of the key members of Charlie Kirk's security team. He worked for the Texas-based Schaffer Security Group for several years, and then left and formed his own company in 2023 called Rockhouse Integrity Group. He brought several Schaffer security employees with him, including Dan Flood and Pierce Beck, and they were all three working the Turning Point USA event in Utah on September 10th when Charlie was shot and killed. Yes. You see these guys on the video.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, I think.
Yeah.
Brian Harpole appeared to be the lead security agent on duty that day, wearing a blue shirt with black strap across the back. He is seen behind the table attending to the Charlie. All right, this is just going. Yeah, my whole point is that they were. Oh, here's the analytics. Yeah, look, and it's one. It's like here's what it looks like when you look it up on Google. And it's like who searched up Brian Harpole, and then it tells you could search it by location, so Israel, then the dates, and it shows you the exact search and the dates. And if you look at the ones, I don't know why it's showing Brian. You know why? Maybe because that's the only ones that you could see, because you can't. Oh, Tyler Robinson, here you go.
This is all on the same boat.
Israel.
It's all on the same day. Over 100 searches of Tyler Robinson.
All from Israel. And it's just one spike, though. It's not like it's over.
It's a consistent thing.
It's not like it's
That's interesting.
Wow. Did you see Mark Levin last night on the Republican Jewish coalition?
No.
He went on this tirade talking about like basically that like Tucker Carlson and anyone who criticizes the government of Israel should be like deplatformed and canceled.
Oh
wow.
Yeah. Tucker already was.
Yeah, that's true.
That I feel like it's a really that's something big we need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because if they're threatening to deplatform people for even criticizing Israel,
we could criticize our own government more than we're allowed to criticize Israel.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing.
It is.
How do you guys feel about the state of Israel's establishment?
What do you mean?
Like how they were established before, like
you mean the 20 or the 12? What's the story? That's like
not the 12 tribes of what was it? Judah.
No.
The sons.
The state of Israel.
The state of Israel.
It was basically like 12 somethings, clans of people that couldn't agree with something. Let's look it up. How was Israel formed? Don't believe me.
While you're doing that, he went on some tirade. He basically was saying that like if you question Israel, that means you're not a Christian. It was crazy.
Yeah, see, that's nuts to me.
That means you're not a Christian.
The state of Israel was formed following the end of the British mandate in Palestine.
You're a Christian hater.
Occurred after the United Nations proposed a 1947 plan to partition the land into separate Arab and Jewish states, a plan that was accepted by the Jewish leadership but rejected by the Arab leadership. The Declaration of Independence by the Jewish Agency chairman David I don't know how to say his name. Gurion?
Where you at? I'm not.
Gurion was immediately followed. My headphone went out.
Yeah, Gurion.
My phone went out. Followed by the 1948 Arab-Israel War. The Zionism movement was a movement for a Jewish homeland, gained momentum in the late 19th century, leading to increased Jewish immigration to Palestine.
Yep. Zionists, it's Israel first. So, like, we're allowed to see. That's the thing. Is like, I don't know.
And my big question, because I don't talk about Israel much, is because like it's something that is not super high on my radar. But my whole thing with Israel is like, what is their basis? What is their basis of doing what they're doing, or even having the power to do what they do? My headphone went out again.
Yeah, mine too.
You had to jerk that thing a little bit. Pause. Wipe that thing, daddy.
Better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better, bro. It's better. Yeah, but like, what is their basis and stances of being able to have this type of power? And
I'm trying to find.
I don't want to be like conspiracy kooky about Israel. I feel like it's just too. It's too low hanging fruit.
Well, you know
to
how
just say
that term
something
came
like
out,
that.
right, Zach?
What?
Conspiracy label in the 70s.
Why it came out?
You've talked about that before.
Conspiracy theorist. Well, it
Yeah.
came out to discredit people for the JFK
Yeah.
Yeah,
assassination. Yeah, 100%.
and they got him up out of here too.
They got Floyd Mayweather on stage last night too. By the way,
Yo, that was weird.
What
you
do you
saw
mean?
that?
Yeah, that did come
What'd he
past
do?
For this
my
coalition,
timeline.
they trotted him. They trotted him out, and he said like, "Oh, my friend's Jewish or something, so I'm going to defend the Israeli people."
anything
And
that
no matter
Israel
cost.
does, no matter what, I'm gonna defend him. That's what Floyd
What?
Mayweather said.
No
They
way.
got Floyd Money
That's
Mayweather
crazy.
out there. Isn't he fighting again? Doesn't he have some fight coming up?
Man, Floyd never stopped fighting.
That's because he's spending all of his money on
Exactly.
Bugattis.
And it's funny that
He's
they're
got like
doing-
10s of the same
they're
Bugatti,
doing
different
this.
color.
Apparently, somebody
Wasting
asked
money.
Israel question to the JD Vance during the TPA USA
Yeah. I listened to
thing.
it. Yeah. I
And
listened
that's
to it.
another thing is like there's some people on the internet saying some weird things about between Erica and JD and how JD was like publicly calling Usha, how do you say her name?
Yeah.
His
Usha.
wife
Yeah.
to or just was publicly saying that he hopes that she conforms, not or
Hey,
Well,
man.
she's not Christian,
she's not.
but she's also very. He explained that she's very like.
she's Hindu, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think she's practicing.
Yeah,
No?
she's fluid or something. Or
Yeah.
But she's like very encouraging him to
Yeah.
walk in his faith.
and so people pointed out that like for a while like he would post on his Instagram like and he was wearing the whole Hindu thing and he would be with his in-laws and would practice in her faith a lot and then like apparently the last 8 or 9 months he hasn't done any of that and like it's just switched up supposedly. So it just
Well,
makes you wonder.
was that like
JD's
campaign material? Because I mean, politicians will go.
No, it wasn't. This is like the deep
They're just like
ends
supporting his wife type of deal.
No, this is just like it's something I've seen multiple posts on.
It's like a deep
from
dive.
from like the bottom of the rabbit hole shit.
What do you like? Do you think anything of Charlie Kirk and JD Vance? I mean Erica Kirk and JD Vance. Do you think anything of that?
No, I don't think. No, it's just
That
it was.
interaction.
I think people grieve in
What, the
weird
other day?
ways.
When they were.
Yeah, like the
Well, they
internet
made it
saying-
weird. Like someone's like, "Oh, he had his hand on her hips." I'm like, "No." If you watch the video,
No, yeah,
they
not.
freeze the frame where he was, putting his arms around her,
Right.
and when he pulled his hands to, bring his hands back to his side,
Yeah.
it looked like he was grabbing her hips, and he wasn't.
Dude, to be honest with you, that
She did.
She did have
grab
the fingers
grab
in
his
the hair.
head.
she grabbed his
But
head.
here's the thing, though: if they
That
were
was-
actually, if
yeah.
someone was going on between them and they knew they're on camera in front of all these people, they wouldn't be doing that. Trust me.
People say that
Like,
she's
they'd be-
very like affectionate. I mean, some people are like that. I mean,
I think yeah.
I didn't think that much of it to be
Yeah.
honest, because I'm just not like that as a person.
Wasn't
I'd
there
be like,
something about
whatever,
like people
but
were saying that she had some iffy things in some foreign
her
country?
background's a little strange.
Yeah,
When I first
is.
heard that,
but that's most politicians.
my
are
first
like
thing
that.
was like, oh, they're just making it up, right? And that's bad. Like I shouldn't have just thought that right away. I should have looked into it myself.
The farthest I would go to speak about her, I would probably just say she's a sort of a plant. That's like the farthest down a rabbit hole I would
It could
go.
be. It's possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, her parents and
'cause of Frank
her
yeah
background
that's
and
the
stuff,
farthest
too.
I would
Yeah.
probably go. I wouldn't say like she's fucking JD Vance.
Which
but
I really hope that's not the case for Charlie's sake. Like I hope that.
I would be very surprised.
yeah.
hey man, so
And not much surprises me anymore.
But she doesn't.
Yeah,
but
that would be
she doesn't make
crazy.
it
That would
easy.
really
She doesn't
surprise
make
me.
it easy to dismiss though. Like the way she acts, she
doesn't.
doesn't make it
Yeah.
easy to just
She's-
be like, no, there's no way it's possible.
that's
like
the only
it's like
thing I will criticize about her.
what?
The way she's handling it.
Yeah, it's like,
a little
dude, you would
loose.
not expect a grieving
Little
wife to like come up and like take charge of this whole freaking thing. Which maybe, and then again, maybe she knows more than we do, and she feels she has to do that to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. Like, so who knows? It's like I heard
You don't
something
really
where
know when you're
somebody
not there.
asked her apparently
Some of
right
those
after it
things,
happened.
yeah.
Somebody asked her. I think it was fuck, I don't know. It wasn't Ben Shapiro, but somebody like that asked her, "Hey, how much do you know about what happened to Charlie?" And she said, "I know everything." And in due time, but it's like since then, all I've seen happen is like I've seen Candace Owens freaking do more for trying to find out what really happened to
But
Charlie
if she
than his
were-
own wife.
If she were
you
to
know?
know, if she were to know that, say if there was a conspiracy,
Maybe
behind it,
she's
that-
stopping World War III from happening. But
would it be wise for her, for the behalf of her children? Thank you, for the
Gotcha.
behalf of her children and her, would it be wise of her to really
Be
try to speak out
quiet.
and be
No.
It wouldn't be very wise, though.
Well, not
You
true.
know?
Well,
People
I
get
think
whacked for
Charlie,
less.
if Charlie actually said, Charlie, in the weeks coming up to his death, he said a bunch of things. He said, we don't know the full story with Israel. He said a lot of speculation stuff, and he said he didn't get the chance to actually elaborate, but if he did, that's why a lot of whistleblowers do come out, because they think that once it's public, they're safe. Because it's not like if he came out and totally said what he was thinking, then whoever killed him couldn't just straight up kill him, because they know then there's the motive. You know, there was no motive at the point that he was killed. Well, there was a motive. It's still speculation. But if Charlie came out and straight up said, you know, for example, I know he was looking into if there was a stand down order in Israel on October 7th. That was a big one.
There is still speculation.
You know about that?
Say that again. You said a stand down order.
Yeah,
I can read the.
for Israel, the IDF. If Netanyahu issued a stand down order for the troops, Israel was attacked.
It took 20 hours from the sending of the cabooses.
On October 7th. Okay. If there was a stand down order, then that means it was a false flag.
Right.
That they let it happen.
Right.
So that they could justify.
I remember that happened, and Trump pitched a bitch about it.
Like, the only thing is with October 7th to me is Israel has the #1 missile and air defense system, the Iron Dome they call it, in the world.
Not for long. We're gonna have the Golden Dome, baby. The Golden Dome.
But in the world, gold is softer than iron. Anyway, it should be Diamond Dome.
It is.
The Diamond Dome. I like that.
Yeah. Tag Trump. There we go. Diamond Dome, baby.
I don't like that. I know where them diamonds are coming from.
In the yeah.
All right, we'll do lab grown ones. How about
Lab
that?
diamonds.
Yeah.
We'll do
No
they shine better anyway.
They do.
You get a little rainbow color in there too.
So
more efficient. More efficient.
you're gonna make me forget my point. Now it's gone.
I had to, bro. You set yourself up.
Fucking Diamond Dome. Oh, I got it. So on October 7th, they they have this if you look at videos, I saw videos that will look like lawn chairs coming in on parachutes. You're telling me Israel. Also,
they not know?
every single person who turns 18 in Israel has to join the IDF for 3 years, the military for 3 years, right? So there are a bunch of everyone who's an adult there is a military trained personnel.
And they're borders, like you cannot get through that.
You're telling me, and I had somebody
Israel's
close.
the size of New Jersey. Like,
I'll say it.
like,
I had exactly. I had my brother say that. Oh well, when they came and attacked, they attacked outer cities, not festivals and stuff, and they attacked people where they wasn't as secured. Iron Dome only covers the big cities. It's the size of New Jersey. The entire freaking state is the size of New Jersey.
Yeah, and if you look at Axios talked about that the Council of Israel, the decision makers, they were briefed on Friday night before the attack, and there was a deliberate decision not to.
So just
to
make
go
that
on
make
high alert.
sense. Just make that make sense.
Wasn't Egypt the first country? I think they said originally that they knew like a couple days in advance.
They knew what
3 days in
that
advance
Israel
or
knew
something,
there was an
that
attack
the
coming.
attack was coming. Well, and the crazy thing is, like, this has happened before. In 1973, the Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir, she was briefed by her military that Egypt and Syria were about to invade, and they wanted to strike now because they could save a lot of Jewish lives. And then she said, "No, don't strike them. Let them hit us first, or else the international community is going to be upset with us."
Ooh.
Like, I mean, so you just let your people get slaughtered.
You think it's funny that a bomb
Well,
actually got through,
it's
though?
just what they do back. Like, it's not like they play defense. They go in and do something that I don't know.
It's kind of like saying, like, hit me first.
And then they also paired with the Esther Project, them paying $7,000 to U.S. politicians U.S.
Social media
influencers per post. That just all screams so many things that scream.
It does.
That's the part
And that's the part, yeah,
higher than that.
exactly. I feel like a lot of influencers are getting paid right now.
Yes, by many different people. You're right.
I mean,
But
rightfully so. They have to make a living.
Israel
but,
has,
but I
but
totally
Israel
agree,
has
yeah.
AIPAC. They also have the highest influence over the United States
Oh, I understand,
politicians,
man.
over the whole government.
There's
So it's
no
like
reason
them doing
why.
it. It's just so many things.
There's
that add
no
up.
reason why they should have such a stronghold on American speech, period. Like, we should be able to criticize Israel freely, especially for the things that they've been doing.
And
They've
all the
been
money
doing
we've
wrong.
given them, all the billions of dollars.
All the billions of dollars we give them, all the taxes that we fucking pay to give them, and we can't speak about it. We haven't been
Well,
able to speak about it ever.
Yeah. Well, so here's another thing. Here's what I think of that. So, did you know that every mother in Israel gets a check every month per kid for $1,000 until that child turns 18? The child gets a trust in their name of $10,000 that they could use to invest in whatever they want. Meanwhile, we give them so much money here in America. My wife was spent like a whole year after coming off maternity leave trying to get the last bit of her pay because of some.
They do that here too.
What do you mean?
Like Jewish people here do that too.
Okay, I'm not even saying just for Jewish people.
I'm not saying it's right, but
I
they
know.
do it here.
They
as well.
do
It's
a
they're
lot
not
of things
just
like
doing
they
it in
make their
Israel.
homes places of worship so they don't have to pay taxes. And there's the
the
city of
Orthodox?
Lakewood.
Yeah,
there's the city of Lakewood in New Jersey that like
Yeah, they don't work. They pray all day.
That's besides the point.
They own like half of upstate New
I
York.
just mean it's crazy that we give so much money to Israel. Their women are okay, where our mothers who are working, she's a doctor for crying out loud, and it's like we had trouble getting her maternity leave pay.
Well, a lot of those things are implemented into their faith, from my understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, how their practice. So it's more a sense of, okay.
And then, so why are Christians backing them so much? Because it clearly, their faith clearly confronts ours.
Well,
or conflicts with ours.
It definitely conflicts because it doesn't recognize the prophet of Christianity. But the way Christianity is set up, I mean, it's not really implemented in a way of being a ward of state. Now, when you have a religious practice that is kind of implemented into your state, it becomes tricky like that to where you can take advantage of different laws, like Sharia law with the Muslims, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Correct.
they get certain liberties through through their faith practices. So, I feel as though
See, if you have a Christian, so the United States, or at least the Constitution, was founded off of biblical principles. And when you operate off biblical principles, it gives this a very even playing field to everybody, whereas these other religions don't. You're right, they do. Like, everybody else is goyim to the when you look in the Torah or whatever.
sure.
And it's like they say, they specifically say things that these people are, not as good as you. Whereas in Christianity, it's like we
Right.
kind of kill them with kindness,
right, yeah, and
It's a little
that's kind of the notion of Christianity.
Even Muslim, I know Muslims. I have people that I've been friends with, I've worked with, and it's they're nice people down to it. But like, and then the extremists are just a more extreme version of Muslim, but it is that's what there's no extreme Christians. You don't see terrorists,
Yeah.
So not
anymore.
My point is the religion of Islam is peaceful once they kill you and everybody that disagrees. It is about peace at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like it is. It's just like I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Well,
It's just nuts. Whereas the other way around, it's about knowing you're going to get shit for it.
There are definitely Muslim extremists. The Muslims have been at war with Christians. It's kind of just sold in a different way, because Christianity is not a war.
Why
type
is that?
Of religion.
Why is there a Muslim extremist that will like blow themselves up, but like a Christian, you don't see like a Christian extremist? I mean, I guess you do.
It's coded into their faith. That's just a part of their faith. It's like, everybody doesn't follow it down to a T, but it's a part of their faith. Like, you sacrifice yourself for Allah, you get 100 virgins or something like that. It's kind of what their faith does, but their tactics of attempting to spread their ideology, it's a whole nother thing. Because, in order to spread any ideology, idea, or civilization, throughout the history of time, you see there's destruction, death, murder, rape, interbreeding, intermarrying, reclassification, all types of things that happens amongst that. So, I mean, Muslims do it in an outright way, but I feel as though a lot of these Christian nations have done it as well. Specifically, European Christian nations have done it in ways that are more covert than overt.
Yeah. No, I hear you. What time are we at?
We're at an hour and 14.
Yeah,
Okay.
14. We smacking the time right now, man.
Pretty good. This stuff's pretty easy, huh? Not hard. Not hard once you get into it. How much longer do we want to go?
I'm down for a few more topics, man.
Yeah.
I don't got work
Let's
tomorrow.
give it like
man.
15 more minutes, 15, 20 more minutes. We'll see. We'll see what the topics are on. All right. What else we got? What do you think of my literature?
I like it. It's very red. I love it.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's very red.
This was, I don't know where that came from. This was a gift from my mom for my birthday.
You know what's interesting about Charlie Kirk? I will say, I respected the fact that he said what he thought, and people don't do that nowadays, especially specifically white men.
Well, we get to a world. We've come to a point where it's like
white guys don't really say what they think, and
Exactly.
you could say
I agree.
I mean, out of ignorance, yeah, I could respect that, because if you don't know and you don't say anything, there's nothing wrong with that. But if
some things are like it's your truth. Like,
yeah, some things are your truth and your
some things
understanding
it's your
and your
perspective. Yeah.
Exactly.
And people are afraid to say that. I totally agree.
The one thing that I did disagree with Charlie Kirk on was, well, not that I disagree with him on, the fact of
that comes through.
you don't ask the question.
Squeaky, right? We need to get a little grease on this bad boy.
Yeah, it's squeaky as hell. But the fact that he never asked the question, he rarely asked the question why these things happen. From my view, he spoke on welfare and how that affected the black family and things of that nature.
Oh yeah, he never broke it down.
Some of his stats were kind of
at
flooded.
the same time.
But
yes, it does matter why it happened because we don't want to repeat it, right? But does it matter to get the point of getting out of it? Does it matter? Like if we dig down, like it's not.
It
like,
absolutely
it doesn't matter to point blame unless you're like. I would say the biggest takeaway of it is his takeaway is you don't need the government in that way, yada yada.
Right.
And the biggest thing, and who did it? You know, who caused these things to begin with was the government. So it's like he is saying the same thing to a T. You're right. He's not diving down into it to say like, oh, you guys got into this situation because of this. So, but now you need to. He's more getting to what you need to do to fix it.
Right.
You know?
I mean, he was more or less. I feel as though he was more or less just calling it out. Period.
Yeah.
He's like, look, this is what's happening here. This is what's happening there. This is not.
Here's the truth. Here's the truth.
This is the truth of what's happening. Blah 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 blah. Even though some of his stats were kind of inflated, but it's the truth. You know, and if you look at it from a character picture where you see, you know, a community as a monolith and everybody is one, it's easy to be able to portray an image onto people, and that kind of perpetrates a fraud in a way, because you're not really getting down to a concise truth if you're not having the understanding. And being that he's such a vocal person and so many young people were behind him, that's the most powerful thing about him, is that he has so many young people as followers, and you know, they believe what he says and they follow what he says, and they go off a lot of his sentiments. That man could have been president of the United States.
Oh yeah, I totally think he would have
very easily. And I think that was known. That was a known thing. You know, if he said it out loud, he probably shot himself in the foot. But at the same time,
yeah, he only had like 6 more years. I think not 6. Was
he
it 4?
He could have got that.
How old is he? He died at 31.
30.
And he had to be 34. He had 3 more years. People were saying he was going to run not in this next election, but the one after that.
But he could have got that.
He probably could have.
But one thing about it, being that he died,
that would have been a game changer.
I don't think that we will see a Democratic president for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I could agree. But then I still don't think it's a good thing, though.
I don't think it's a good thing at all.
Even as a Republican, I don't think that's a good thing.
I don't think it's a good thing what Trump did to the cabinet.
I think the two-party system has become a tool to give freedom illusion of freedom, illusion of choice. It's like you have to choose between this and this, but you're not allowed to ask about anything in between.
It's always been like every great nation has a polarizing tool. Rather, you go back to the Egyptians and the pharaohs and the notion of the gods being unhappy, and you know, with the democratic system which they established, you have the sides. We got to be able to, as people, we have to be able to figure out and realize what the tool is doing and what the tool is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what's coming out of the propaganda machine day by day is something used in order to reinforce the mind of the American. This is why we are that's why we feel the way we feel about our country. We hold it dearly, like our country is a part of our family, you know? This is why Americans come here and feel more American than they do in their native countries.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a propaganda tool. At one point in time, it was just racism. was the propaganda tool, and at one point in time it was slavery. And it's like either you want to flip the pendulum on feel bad for me or fuck this, or feel bad for me or fuck this. You can do that, but that's just how America works, and it's always worked like that. And if you look at it in a chronological sense, and you look at how things have gone, this is right on par, it's right on schedule. Was supposed to happen. I feel like, and as far as what happened with him was unfortunate, but he was just another mark to the system. The same as a Martin. The same as Malcolm X. This is like you drive a narrative, and then you're able to gauge it with politics, and then you can gauge politics and turn politics into policy. And that's just another thing that happens. Like I said before, man, I don't know why the Prime Minister of Israel would talk about some guy on YouTube.
Back to that.
I don't know. That's why I love the topic of Charlie
There's
Kirk.
some videos of him saying some crazy shit like 20 years ago.
Who are you talking about?
Who are you talking about? The Prime Minister of
Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yeah.
He's a strange guy, bro.
Yeah.
He's another strange guy. I don't know why he's doing a domestic. Well, I don't know why he did like a domestic American kind of minstrel show to like advocate for Israel's, standing in our politics. Most Americans don't trust what he says or what he does or what they do.
I think the people in America making decisions, I don't know, it almost feels like they're taking orders from him sometimes, but I think it came.
Don't you guys feel cheated by that?
I do. I don't like AIPAC one bit. Some people bring up counter arguments like, oh yeah, but there's a lot of lobbies. There's a lot of people that are paying congressmen and elected officials.
You feel it?
But not many of them are paying all of them.
Do you feel as though protective classes are needed in 2025?
What do you mean?
Isn't AIPAC like in a sense of sense of protection for the Jewish people, Jewish faith?
Well, they
and
advocate.
things like that. They advocate for it.
But that's what lobbying is. You're advocating for certain
groups, protections under groups. Yeah,
certain policy or something like that.
Do you think we need things like that in 2025?
Not with everything on record and on video, and it's not like people could get away in the court of public opinion with certain things.
I think the problem people have with
unless they control the media and control the what gets. If you start censoring, that's why censoring is so dangerous. And who has that power is Israel. They do. They have the power. I
think the problem people have with it is because they're looking at it as if it's not just regular lobbying. You're lobbying on behalf of a foreign nation.
Yes.
And I think that's where a lot of people.
Correct.
That happened Didn't that happen like in the early 2000s with the Asian Americans as well? They started to lobby more and have different radio broadcasts shut down and canceled. Because the Asian joke started to was just
what the Stop Asian Hate.
Yeah, like the Stop Asian Hate thing, the Asian hate crime bill.
Yeah, but it never. They never.
But I mean, like when I look at Israel and like kind of like the ADL. Well, that would be the ADL, correct? Mm-hmm. So, do you think we need organizations like that in America, or we should need organizations like that in America? And what would it take for us to get to a place where we don't need
for the people who are more than capable of? I think we need things. I think we need to, look out for the needy, not the needy in the sense of the people like, milking the system. The needy in the sense of the people that need. There's always going to be people that need. I don't think we need. Are you asking if we need? I think we need a.
So protective classes, LGBTQ was a protective class.
Yeah, no, I don't think we need.
But also women,
specific representatives.
But also
for
women,
these
that's what I'm saying. So, but also women are a protective class. But then you have representation of these classes to be kind of like the bearers of their represent. So, if something happens and somebody's being racist who has a higher position in Sears, and BLM comes out and says, "Hey, you can't say that. Let's get this guy fired." You think that's a necessary thing in America? And if it is, where do we get to where we don't need that?
I wonder why there's not one of them. Yeah, I guess, and you saying that, Sebastian, kind of opened my eyes because AIPAC is the only one that is like a religion as well as, or a foreign nation as well as a religion, as well as like an ethnic group here in America. Kind of blows my mind because you don't see that. Like you don't see a Christianity group lobbying for, with Congress.
Well, not at least not to the point where
You don't see one for Muslims, and there wasn't one for Asians, I don't believe.
No, there was a.
But you do see it for like LGBTQ.
Nah,
You
but
do
there was an Asian like an Asian anti-Asian hate group, established because Asians were being attacked and beat up on and shit.
Yeah, yes.
And
there was a
lot of advocacy brought to
platform. There was a
that.
lot of yes.
Yeah,
But that's different. It was more like the community waking up. It was
Right.
more communal.
that as well. But just like you said, like when you got people in the high positions and they're able to pull strings and say, "Oh, I don't like that you said this, and I want this guy pulled
You're
off
saying
the
people
air."
were like canceled for it? Yeah,
Yeah, of
That's
course.
also communal too. It's like it becomes a catch-22 at one point where it's like, or not catch-22, more like chicken or the egg. It's like
Right,
the community starts it and then the government take advantage of it
right.
by
Right.
but that's what I think COVID was. I think it was a combination. I think it was a
Of what?
combination
Combination of what?
of things that were out of the government's control, and then it turned into something that they used to gain control.
So you believe that COVID was like in a way like a inverted psyop kind of. It's like they used it.
Sure. Yeah.
They used it in order to gain some type of psychological power over the people in a way, like the fear mongering thing.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Or like
it
a
was
condition.
physical too.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I
Conditioning.
mean, it's physical, chemical warfare in a sense. Like
I do think. I mean,
diseases.
so you know how it's no secret that natural resources is a thing, and that the world population is going to be too high for that, right? But I have faith in a higher power. Not everybody does. A lot of people in charge don't, right? So they want to take that into their own hands. So I do think that world population control is a major agenda behind the curtains.
Well, they're not.
Of world
They don't
leaders.
hide it.
They don't.
Agenda 2030. Bill Gates doesn't hide it when he says, we can
You're right.
reduce the population by 10% with vaccines.
Yeah, exactly.
And now he just reverted his whole stance on climate change because,
What do you mean he reverted it?
the other day now he's claiming that it's basically not.
it's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
He went back on climate change.
Why?
I mean,
Well, who knows?
because it's probably because the government's pulling out its clean energy contracts.
I don't believe in climate change, but I'm just wondering why he changed his stance. I don't believe in it because the Earth has been heating and
Well, who
cooling
knows?
a lot more
Why,
than the
but-
degree that climate change is going to change it. For
I got a little theory. I think that he had a lot to do because if you guys don't remember, like right after the pandemic, there was like a clean energy incentive all around the nation. In New Jersey as well, like they were doing the fucking.
Well, that's why our energy prices are so high
exactly.
right now. When Governor Murphy has taken 6 power plants out since 2017, and you don't have. We could have had a nuclear reactor starting to be built 10 years ago, and they didn't do it. When you shut off coal plants and you're trying to force everyone to buy electric vehicles, which, by the way, does more damage to the environment than gas does, like by a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And then you wonder why you get your bill this
Because you have
year
two
and
sources of energy, one to
$1,000.
power whatever the power is coming from. It's yeah. It is crazy how.
That's why it'll be interesting to see what happens on Tuesday. Which is another thing. I want to ask you guys your predictions.
I'm hearing
We got
that
the
there's a
mayoral
chance
race
that
in
New
York
Jersey
City, we
might
got
actually
Jersey
turn
and
red
Virginia.
for the first time.
New Jersey might turn red, man.
You think so? Are you seeing that?
I've seen a lot of people. I work in Middlesex County.
Mhm.
It's very there's a lot of people out there. I see a lot of Chillerelli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't look. Something about Trump
People, or because signs don't vote, people do. So
exactly. You're very, very true. But at the same time, it's right on par because New Jersey is a very important state to the United States of America. We're one of the highest
Yeah.
taxpaying states.
I mean,
in America.
not
You
to
know,
elections. It's always been
Maybe not to elections, but as far as like on a financial stances
Yeah,
and basis, New York is New York.
Yeah,
It's a whole different world.
Mhm.
New Jersey is way more blue collar. This is where people come to live. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Chiarelli won, even though Mikey Sherrill is probably the most popular candidate right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he won, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but Mikey Sherrill, people are unhappy, like you said. You know,
But she flies helicopters, guys. All she ever talks about before she opens her mouth, she's like, by the way, I was in the military. That's great.
Can
but
you
that's
guys
not,
explain to me like what's going on with like her and the stock trade scandal and
Oh,
how
was
she's,
she? Did you see the clip
thought
from
that was-
Charlemagne?
I did, but I didn't deep
That was-
dive into it.
It was great how
I've
she
seen the little
stuttered. She's
fucking
like,
ad. Yeah, she's
oh,
like-
and then like, well, I have to. I was like, lady, you've been in office years now. You should know. You've been asked that question a bunch of times. When I was with Paul, we went after her multiple times for it, and she, she came up, she squirmed around and came up with answers for it. But the fact that you didn't have a solid answer for that question, your consultant should be fired, and you might want to fire her yourself because I don't know how you don't have an answer. Even if you're going to lie about it, have an answer that's clear and concise.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. But yeah, she violated this stock act multiple times. She was on the front cover of I think it was the New York Times or the Post.
Yeah.
Multiple times she violated it and she had to pay her fine. I think it's like a $200 fine or something.
Isn't that
Big
like
whoop,
but across the political spectrum, like isn't that like a very broad conflict of interest that we have a problem with?
Well, yeah.
in
And the thing
America?
is, she's sitting on the Armed Service Committee and she's trading defense stocks. So, like she's getting that information before the rest of the public does.
The world is just crazy.
And yeah.
Yeah, they all do it.
And then the scandal with the military scandal she has.
What's that?
You didn't hear about that?
No, I think I did.
Yeah, it was the scandal
but,
when she
you
was
know-
in the academy. She didn't get to graduate with her class because I think
Oh,
it was
yes,
like
I did hear
50 midshipmen wound up cheating on their exams.
Yes, yeah, I did hear
and
about
she
that.
claimed that she didn't cheat, but she didn't know anything about it. Then she changed her story and said, "Oh, actually, I know who did it, but she didn't want to rat on them." And they're like, "Why don't you just put out your records?" And she refuses to do it.
She backed
Crazy.
herself into a hole. Sounds like.
So what's like?
I did hear about
so
that.
what's just Jack Chiarelli's deal? Like, why are people against him? Why are people for him? What do you
He's
think?
just the Republican candidate that's in right now.
He's a very more moderate.
Yeah,
I mean, he's changed
who
his
was
stance
it
a little bit,
before
but-
that? It wasn't. It was
What do you mean?
Billy Pascrell. No, not Pascrell. Bill Spadia was who you were on the campaign for,
I'm
right?
good friends with Bill.
Yeah.
Bill ran in the primary. John Bramnick, who I work with down in the Senate, he's been a state senator for
You think he's going to run again,
20-something years. Who?
Bill?
I mean, probably not. I don't think he will, at least in the short term. I think he really wants to focus on his common sense organization and really electing local leaders at the especially like council candidates and school board parents and stuff like that to try to retake the state at a micro level.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, New Jersey's just a really tough state for a lot of reasons. The NJGOP in this state, I'm not criticizing the entire GOP, but specifically New Jersey, I mean, it's just a mess. I mean, if it was up to me, I would probably go in there and can 98% of the people that work for them, and I'd say, if you want your job back, then you gotta have an interview with me and explain to me what you've done and what you want to do, because I know a lot of those people, and it's a mess. I mean, there's barely any grassroots support. And the thing that people don't realize in New Jersey, whoever gets on both sides of the aisle, whoever gets the nomination in the primary, gets to appoint the chairperson, the head of the GOP or the DNC in the state. So Bob Hugin, who was our chairperson for the past 4 years, Jack's the one that put him in his spot. And Bob's a big pharma guy. I think he worked for Celgene. He's worth tens of millions of dollars, him and his wife. Jack also has some background in pharma too, selling. I think it was his publishing company was putting out pamphlets and literature promoting opioids, and I think he made like $12 million off that. And people were like, "Well, you're promoting opioids, and tens of thousands of people wind up dying of opioids." And not saying they're
Especially
necessarily
here.
connected. That he was
Not
purposely
something
doing
you want,
that,
yeah.
but. It's just the leadership in the state. There really isn't any. And it's a mess. And when we talk about Billy Prempo, like Billy's, in my opinion, he's a great candidate. And if he actually got money, like last cycle, he only raised like $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cycle before he raised like 300, which is like his top that he's gotten, the most that he's gotten. But like, and now, and he'll talk about it when he's here, I'm sure. I'll ask. Now they're running some lady against him, who she was supporting his candidate last year, and now she's claiming to be a Republican running against Billy, but she was
Really?
supporting the Democrat last year, Nellie Poe, who was also a state senator, who I worked alongside of, before she joined Congress, because that's when Bill Pascrell died. She took his seat over.
Yeah.
But it's a mess. Like, they should be helping him out. They should be giving him funding. They should be giving him, people, boots on the ground, giving him that support, because like he can win that district. I mean, it's within striking distance. And I mean, how great would that be for the city of Patterson?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been to Patterson in a while, but the few times I've driven through there, I mean,
It
it's
really
a
would.
mess.
That's what I'm
Dude.
saying. It's in Patterson's best interest, and it's
I'll
like
tell you something right now. I don't
We
even
were
think
talking about candidates going to the community.
it's
inner
so
communities,
bad,
inner
bro.
cities.
I don't even think Patterson's supposed to be a city the way it's set up. Dude, it's like, it's a big insurance dump, because if you're a resident of the city of Patterson, it requires that you have some of the highest car insurance possible, just because of the roads, the streets,
oh yeah, I'm sure.
that whole industrial district,
and people stealing cars,
that
and people don't know how to drive. People don't know how to drive.
Billy
in
got his
Patterson.
car stolen too.
Dude.
Did he?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah,
He's tracking
it's
it
true,
on the
though.
phone. He's like, they're taking my car.
the entire industrial district in Patterson is gross.
And when it snows in Patterson,
gross.
turns into
when
a
it
mess.
floods in Patterson. It's
Yep,
gross.
yep.
It's
It
terrible.
floods bad.
It's
Storm
terrible.
management has been horrible across the whole state.
Yeah,
They never did anything with it, and
they haven't.
But in
And-
Patterson, it gets
Dude,
bad.
we were
Yeah.
better in like 2006 when we got blizzards, man. We were better off than now, because now it's like we can't even anticipate the weather, like when it happens. Like, and plus we're gonna keep going under.
It totally caught me off guard on Halloween. I was trying to go trick or treating with my son, and we got that nor'easter, but that's the one that we were expecting to get. Weren't we supposed to get a storm like a week or two prior? Like
a couple days at least. I think
Dude, I got caught in a flood that day. I was down in Newark. Coming off 21.
yeah, there
New
was
York
some flooding
flooded,
around.
It
right?
was a shit show.
There was flooding,
all
yeah.
the way to the car windows.
It was a
nuts.
shit show. So like probably from downtown Newark all the way over past the bridge. Probably really bad. Well, it was really bad. I was flooded off both sides of the streets. Dude, I was like 30.
That's what happens when you keep building low income
Yo,
housing and all
I
this
was-
stuff. You
I
got
was
no
working.
trees, no soil left to absorb any of this stuff.
I was working,
Where's
and I
it
was
supposed
at
to go?
a client's house, and it was
I feel not even just low income housing. It wasn't even
They're
in those
just building in general.
Just
They're building
building in
everywhere
general.
around here.
and not really not doing anything with the property that you have. You'd be surprised how many abandoned homes are in Newark. Like, how you know how they do those dollar home incentives? Like, they'll sell you a home for $1 on a certain credit rate, and you can build it up and do what you got to do with it, but you got to pay off all the taxes to it and everything. That's what they're doing in Newark, right? Well, that's what they were doing in Newark about 2 years ago. It's because there's so many abandoned properties there. Like, people don't own things there. And the Jews, they've been buying up all the complexes and all the low income housing, things of that nature. And it's like, man, that shit's it's not really doing anything for the community. I feel as though the future of the inner cities and the big cities, you think about New York City, Manhattan, Newark, we need to get back to people who live there owning those cities and people who live there policing those cities. I feel like it's a big problem with a lot of inner cities in America, is that, you have a lot of corporate greed going on as far as like, rather it be the yuppies coming in and what is the term that they use for it, where
gentrification.
gentrifying the cities and things of that nature. I feel as though that's something that can be a poison to these big cities, because you don't have people who have the passion. Like, you come to a town like this, like Boonton or Montville, or even you go like Somerville, Hillsborough. These people are advocating for their cities because they own property there. You don't own property where you are.
You're right.
You don't really
That's why
advocate.
inner cities
You don't
is
know
such-
how to
yeah.
advocate in the way that you're supposed to.
They want you to own nothing and be happy.
Exactly.
And
And
same
be
thing with the
happy, keep on
handouts, the
renting.
SNAP. It's all the same shit, man. Yeah.
Be surprised, though,
it's
man.
crazy because we're fighting. We view things very differently, but once you have that moral outlook, it's like you're still fighting the forces of good versus evil.
It's an
at the end of the day.
It's an understanding, but also levels.
understanding,
It's
yeah,
levels
for
of understanding, though, because it comes to a point also where you have to abandon the scapegoats too on both sides. Rather it be, I feel like we should get this because of this is happening, or rather it be, SNAP is debilitating the country.
Yeah.
It's like, We need to abandon those talking points and say, okay, where are the solutions here? How do we actually restore these communities nationwide?
Sure, and that's what I was
You
saying.
know?
I think Charlie Kirk was trying to do.
In what way? What do you think?
Well, you were saying he didn't talk enough about
Solutions.
how these things happened
Right.
or how these things came to be. And my argument was not even an argument. My point was Charlie was more focused on. I agreed with you that he didn't dive into like how these things came to be, how we got to here. But he did know his shit though. He knew his facts. Like if you asked him about something, he would be like, actually, the truth is. And,
I mean, he knew
but
a lot of times
he was
knew-
focused on the what can we do to move past it and get where we are now.
I
And here's
feel
the
as
reality
though-
of the situation that we're in currently. And you need to see that before we can even that's what he did. He tried to get people to see the reality of the situation we're in, because
Right.
once you can't move on from that. I used to be in sales, and I was in a scenario where the person whose store we took over before, that had the same location that we took over, he stole a lot from these customers. He was taking their money but not placing the order for the product, and it racked up to like $1 million. And these people were pissed for a long time, and we took over the store, and they would come in and think it was the same owner and say, "Where's my shit?" And I learned, because it was always the same thing, I wasn't able to sell them new stuff until they got it into their heads that their old stuff wasn't there. So they would come in like, "Where's my stuff? I know it's in a warehouse somewhere," because the old guy was giving them excuses. "Oh, it's in a truck. It's on delivery. We have it in the warehouse. The delivery guy had a heart attack," like all crazy shit. But they thought that their product was ordered and that it wasn't the dealer's, that the dealer just wasn't flat out lying to them. So we weren't able to sell them new stuff until we were like, "Hey man, your product doesn't exist. It was never ordered. Call your credit card company, get it back. It's time to move forward." Right? So he was trying to get people to realize the reality of the situation, because you need that. You need to know what's happening and why you think a certain way. Or you need to know, you need to be called out for you to change.
But
right?
And I understand what you're saying, because it's true. And Charlie Kirk wasn't the first of his kind. But in your same analogy, what happens when you call your credit card company and your credit card company says, "Well, no, not giving you your return.
Sure.
You're not going to get what you feel as though you deserve, because you're not bigger than the credit card company."
No, you're right. Well, no point in arguing. Well, you got to control. It's
Right.
acceptance prayer.
Right.
You got to,
And see, I feel as though that's really the. I wouldn't speak for everybody, and I definitely wouldn't speak for the Democratic Party, because I don't think the Democratic Party represents black people in the black community. But I will speak in a sense for the individuals who see the political landscape as a confusing thing. When you're trying to plead your case, and your case is constantly hijacked by some sort of machine that's bigger than you, but you want to accept the help because you need it. You're like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna accept this help. I'm gonna want this thing, even though you're taking a rib from me. I'm gonna accept this help." You can blame the people because you have to. You look at them and say, "Why did you do this?" But at the same time, you have to also look at the perpetrators of this here thing. Now, I want to ask you guys another question. How do you guys feel about reparations?
I'm glad you asked that. Good topic. I think, again, like I'm saying, you think it's going to solve anything? All right. I'll tell you what I think, but then I want to hear what you think about it. I think there's a couple things. Didn't you post something and I like commented on it on Instagram? What? All right. All right. So you want to get to the history of things, right? So black people want reparations, and who do they expect it from? Obviously, white people, or who else? How do you? Because
Not just white people. It's every. It would have.
What about
to be,
people? What about other white Europeans that came here after? It's like how
after slavery?
How do you choose who you get reparations from?
No, it doesn't come from Europeans that came from before slavery.
It comes from American taxes.
No, it's not. It doesn't come from American taxes either. It will come from England, Spain.
What about Africa though?
Whoever, but who occupies these spaces? Like who are the main powers and key ways that occupy these spaces in these economies? And that's my point. We would need our return from Africa, because we were sold off by Africans to the Europeans.
Yeah, but
to
isn't
the
like
Spanish?
okay,
And see, this is why I always go back
Aren't the British
to
in southern Africa?
yeah, they were in South Africa,
And isn't it like so? And there's still slavery in Africa today, right?
absolutely.
Where in Africa? Is that in southern Africa? Or?
There's slavery in South Sudanese, there's slavery in Kenya. Kenya definitely. Kenya is very bad.
But I'm saying,
Really
was it Europeans that sold black people into the slave trade?
No, they didn't sell black people into the slave trade. They transported black Americans
Yeah.
to America and to the Caribbean islands through the slave trade.
So I guess here's my point about it is, if that didn't happen, so nothing would be as it was. Do you think? Let me ask you. Do you think your life would be better today if that never happened?
Absolutely not. But when I'm looking at the extremists of either side and they're saying that a group of people don't belong, and they say, hey, we should send these people back. Well, you shouldn't have messed with those people in the first place.
Do you know anything about how that happened in Africa, where black people were selling other black people? What was the difference there? There was enough difference there where it's like,
Musa did it.
I
He
mean,
was the richest man ever.
I mean, they all did it. Every nation that existed has had slaves and has concubines.
that's another
throughout
thing
the
I always
history
say
of
is
time.
like,
we
we were one of the last countries to the slave trade,
But that's-
and we were one of the first to abolish it too,
I
though.
understand
And
that.
it's like,
But that's not really my point.
Mhm.
When you look at after slavery, and you look at we can say that people are being indoctrinated to this day through the American politics and the propaganda machine that we live under. You say that people are being indoctrinated. You look at the treatment that a lot of black people have had to go through. You look at how our communities have went up and down throughout the history of time due to military forces of people, not the people of this country, but the institution of this country, due to the competition that the black economy was bringing to these different areas, neighborhoods, towns, cities. You look at how they were destroyed and torn down. I feel as though it's only right. I don't think that people should get a fucking check for being black. That's not a real reality. And in reality, everybody's not a descendant of a slave.
so are you saying reparations? I'm trying to stick to the reparations topic, and I'm trying to get your point as a whole here. So you're saying it's not so much about like them coming, coming here as slaves and the whole slavery thing, but it's more how you're treated.
It's the
since then?
chronological history of the relationship between black Americans. When I say black Americans, I mean historical descendants of slaves, descendants of intermingling of slaves and Native Americans, of these groups who were constantly reclassified. They were, genetically twisted in a way. We want to say race mixing, and not race mixing, ethnic genocide in a sense. And when you really look at the broad picture of it, there's been no restitution. And I don't look at SNAP and food stamps in Black History Month as restitution. Because that's one thing I do agree with the conservatives on. It's like, that's a crock of shit. That really did no restitution for black people. I'm not saying that you need to come up on TV and say.
So what would it look like to you?
It would look like restoration.
Yeah, what would that look like?
It would look like finishing what Reconstruction was supposed to be.
Yeah. I will say one thing that, what was it, the CIA screwed black people and all minorities over
everybody.
and all inner city, by introducing drugs to the inner cities and using it as just such a control factor. And like
that didn't just screw up black people, that screwed up everybody, because the drugs trickled up to the suburbs as
but
well.
minorities and
Absolutely.
and sure, and lower class. I mean, yeah.
Guns too.
Yeah, guns,
too.
all that.
Remember
Guns as well.
Operation Run and Gun when Obama had? They were basically funneling guns over to across the Mexican border, and it wound up all that stuff wound up ending up in the cities. I remember there were people that were. I was listening to a video one time, and they were talking about how he was. I don't remember where he was from, but there was a gentleman talking about how one day there was like crates. Some of these inner cities, like crates filled with weapons. He was watching this stuff happen, like coming off of trains and stuff.
That's a real life thing.
Yeah.
That shit's been happening since the 80s. Like guns, crates being dropped off into inner cities. It's just been happening forever. Like these guns come from somewhere. These military grades, like You got kids that have MP5s with fucking attachments.
Clocks with
Running
switches
around.
and stuff.
Dude, I mean that's an illegal, but that's another thing coming from South America that
Yeah.
it started in China but manufactured and shipped through South America. That's another thing that's really fucked up. But you look at it, all this is really controlled chaos if you think about it. Because if you put people in a scarce position, you say, okay, we're gonna take this, and this from them and bleed their communities dry in a sense. They can still have their pride and power, but pride is a fucking devil. Because pride really keeps you on that fucking gravy train of trying to, act like you're really feeling something or doing something when nothing's really happening. You're just yelling loud. It's my only thing. That's one of my big problems with how we purvey our messages is because, dude, it's got to be some type of action and what we want, an actual thing that we want. Like, what is our agenda? And I feel as though we don't have one.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest problems. And we had a good one at one point in
You're
time.
saying you as black people?
As black, yes.
Yeah.
We don't have an agenda. Our agenda is used to be tethered to other people's causes, in which takes
Did you
away
have
and
an example?
discredits. What was that?
Do you have an example?
LGBTQ community.
Okay, yeah. There you go. Good example.
I'm not gonna say black people homophobic. I don't think that black people care as much about gayness as you think, but we're not really that type of community.
Yeah.
And
That doesn't define.
And historically, if you think about it, you go to Jamaica, they'll kill you for being gay.
Oh, yeah.
So at one point in time, that was a form of.
There's a lot of places in the world they'll do that.
A lot of African countries because what was behind
Why
that?
are you gay?
Yeah, why are you gay? It is a sickness.
That's good.
But no, like that, it's a real thing because it's a part of the history and slavery to where like when they had to do certain things that were just fucking violent, disgusting. I'm not gonna say them out loud, but when these things happen and it became ingrained into the culture. Like once these guys gained their freedom, they said this is not a thing we accept. This is not of our nature. This is not what we do. Yada yada yada. Now, do I think gay people are bad? No. I think they should be able to do everything that a straight person should be able to do. But when you make
I don't think
it's
there's
sexual-
anything they can't do.
there's not nothing they can't do. That's the point. What the fuck do they need an agenda for?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
why do we need that?
There's not anything they can't
And
do.
why is it so
that-
closely? Why has it become so closely tethered to blackness that we now call this agenda wokeness when wokeness was
You're right. Woke. I feel like woke.
wokeness
It's woke is
a
like
phrase
anti-racist
that's
and it's
been
anti.
used-
But it's like
that's been used since the early 90s for the same type of situations. We're talking about Charlie Kirk, the government having a fucking hand in a lot of the wrongdoings going on in these communities, and it trickles down to these individual isolated
I feel
situations.
like it's turned into the opposite of conspiracy theorists.
has.
Conspiracy theorists means you like don't trust and hate the government, and then like woke means like you love and trust everything the government says, and
And
you like need acceptance for out,
That's
or at
why
least
these
what
things-
the
that's why these
Democratic
things
government
just
says.
these things don't make sense to me sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like the language has just been flipped. And I
What?
get it because it makes sense, but
We should wrap it up soon.
yeah.
But this has been good, man. We'll have you back on again. We have a
Alright,
couple
man.
of people lined up for the next few, but we'll get you back on.
Let me ask you one thing
What's
before we
up?
head out.
What's up?
Obviously this is a political show in a lot of senses. Talking about the inner city and issues going on there. What is your opinion on the fact that, most, if not all, these inner cities, they've been run by Democrats for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and nothing's gotten better.
Yeah,
In
he
a
knows.
lot of ways, it's gotten a lot
That's
worse.
what we're talking about.
And, especially with the mayoral election coming up in New York City. Like, what's your opinions on just Democrats having that stranglehold, not only, in the inner cities, but a lot of times, with these minority groups, blacks and Spanish population?
The Democrat, I truly feel as though the Democratic Party is a coup, and it's become a coup. And if we weren't able to see it then, we should definitely see it now. It's been co-opted outside of the interests of the American people and its original people. Immigration has made this country. I don't think either one of you guys would be here if it wasn't for immigration, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But at the same time, when you use immigration as a ploy to win you an election, and you run the risk of bringing in so many different foreigners, while at the same time we're trying to build ourselves up coming off of a pandemic, and you bring in all of these people and you're giving them so much supplementary support because we've seen it happen in the inner city, and black people weren't happy about it. Trust and believe, they weren't. Now, it comes down to a fact of who's going to be the Democratic candidate that actually divvies up to Democratic values. And we really haven't seen one that's been genuine and honest yet. So that's really my opinion on it. And it's for as long as we don't get a genuine, honest candidate who comes into office, and I understand, like, you only have so much power as a political figure, period, because you're playing in a system that you're not bigger than. You know, we all are aware of that. But at the same time, if we don't have a level of transparency to where we can say, like, we came up with solutions all day. I've seen plenty of people with their opinions on Snap, all over Twitter, Instagram. If you, this should be this as a qualification. If we can't come to the table and say, okay, this is what's going on, and this doesn't make sense, so how can we make sure that these people are getting what they need, and we're making sure that the people who are getting what they need are actually the people who need it? Until we get to that point, like I said before, I don't think there'll be another Democratic candidate that will seriously win for this in this presidential election. And as far as on a local level, if we keep on getting the same outcomes, our cities are going to rot from the inside in. I root for the Democratic Party the same way I still root for the Republican Party, because I'm truly America first. Whoever we get is who we get. We still got to wake up in the fucking morning and get to it. There's no stopping. So at the end of the day, until we get a genuine person who actually stands on the values of what America is, and that's something different for everybody. That's another thing that we got to all understand. American values range upon the spectrum, but we all have an understanding of what it means to be an American.
Amen.
You understand? But until we get a true and honest person in position that's going to be able to speak to the people, speak for the people, and not ignore any of the people, no matter what side of the spectrum they're on, I think then it'll make sense to have another Democratic. But I don't think that we should have another Democratic candidate running these cities. I think we do need a change, because I haven't seen one. I like Jasmine Crockett, but half of the country doesn't like Jasmine Crockett. So what are we going to do about that? Because Jasmine Crockett,
Get out and vote.
She can't just speak for half of the country. You know what I'm saying? She got to speak for the country when she goes out and speaks. So that's kind of how I feel about it, man.
Encourage people to go vote, man.
Go vote. I you know what? I'm voting. I'm
You're
gonna
go
vote this time. Yeah.
Go vote.
I've been told so many times go vote, and I didn't. I'm gonna vote this time.
Go vote. If
Hey,
that's what you think.
A lot of people died for that right to have that. That's the way I look at it.
You're absolutely
You know?
right. You're absolutely right.
Use that power, that one person, one vote.
I'm gonna use that power. I'll use it this time. I just couldn't vote between Trump and Kamala. I couldn't do it. That was a shit show.
I understand that.
I'm just like,
I understand that now. Then
Nah.
why not though? Would you rather Kamala as the president?
I mean, I knew Trump was gonna win. It wasn't fair.
Yeah.
I don't think it was fair. She didn't have a shot. She didn't have a shot.
Okay.
Only
That's fair
person,
enough to
only
say.
person living, breathing.
She also spent over $1 billion and is still like
She
And-
spent
and-
$1 million on
and-
Beyonce.
On Beyonce.
and other
millions in debt that the DNC is
who
still
else?
trying to
Megan
bail.
Thee Stallion and
And-
twerking at the
and
thing.
that's
It's just
what
it
I
wasn't
mean.
serious. At some
Dude, do you
points.
not think that's like, you think that there are like sets of black people who looked at that and said, this is fucking prejudice. Like, what the fuck are
Well,
you
people
Yeah,
would
doing?
show up
sure.
at the concerts and then like leave after they left and after the act was over, and then like nobody was there.
Like, what are we doing? Like, why? Why is that necessary? Why do you need fucking Beyonce? You might as well dig up James Brown out the grave, tell him to sing fucking
funny,
Living
bro.
in America. Like, what are we
Oh,
doing?
my God.
We don't need that.
All right.
Try different tricks.
Well, like I said, man, we're gonna have you back on for sure. We're good. Everything looks good. We're still recording, so we made it. Episode 2 under the wraps. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, for real. And thank you. If you guys watch this whole thing, thank you. For real. We're here because we just want to be. So we hope you are too. And it makes a difference. Speak your mind. Don't be afraid to speak truth. It matters. Your opinion matters. All of our opinions matter, man. And they hold power. So.
And before we sign off, when we do come back, I want to get deeper into diving into the different classes of people who came in, the influences, because I do want to say this once again, because people are going to always look at you and think, oh, you're siding with this person or that person. There were people who wake up in the morning every day and bust their asses and do what they got to do. That's what a real American is. Rather, you're working high up in a position in industry. You wake up in the morning, you try to take care of your family, do what you got to do.
Amen.
And try your fucking best, you know?
All right. Hell yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Anyway, so we got Billy Prempha coming up. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Bridge.American. On Facebook, Bridge.America. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Tunes. Thank you, Sebastian. As always,